No, I'm Islam. Do you have any question? Any one of you? Before we start the formal class? Let's begin the class. Yesterday, we were at this stage. Like I had explained to you, the meaning of trial balance, and it was shown to you on the screen. This table was shown to you on the screen. I had explained to you how do we draw this, and before that, I had explained to you in details logic of each one of these, which is mentioned on this slide. So before I proceed, let me know if you have any question concerning the discussion that we had up to yesterday, that is day 11. Any one of you, if wishes to ask any question, I'll explain. Otherwise, I'll proceed with the current class, whatever we have in mind for the day.
Excuse me, sir. Some of us have the doubt that the calculator the capital which we calculated yesterday, is
Yes.
it of opening capital or closing capital? Because we
Nothing.
have
See,
deducted.
listen. Nothing was mentioned there. You simply write an equation. A is equal to C plus L. Correct?
Yes, sir.
And write 0 is equal to 0 plus 0.
Okay,
When
sir.
nothing is given, or even if you don't write 0 is equal to 0 plus 0, just write A is equal to C plus L. Below A, you
Yes.
write your roll number. Correct?
Yes, sir.
Below capital, you write nothing. Okay. Below liability, you write sum of your enrollment number.
Yes, sir.
Correct? Now you have worked out uh, revenue minus expenses profit, which is equal to 20.
Yes, sir.
Profit will increase capital. So
Yes,
write
sir.
plus 20 below capital. So
Yes, sir.
whatever data was given, you have substituted the values in the equation. Now mathematically balance that. Whatever you
Oh,
get is your capital.
yes, sir. But it is supposed that the profit should be added in the capital, but
Yes,
in
profit, you add profit to capital. See, you have substituted the values
yes,
below
sir.
A, C, and L.
Yes, sir.
There was no value for C.
Yes, sir.
Value for A was available, value for L was available, and value to be added or to be subtracted was also available.
Yes, sir.
Substitute those values and then arrive at the mathematical answer.
Okay, sir.
All right. Still, if you have any doubt, you ask me. I'll be able to explain to you more. Now, I'm posting a question in the chat box, which will the answer of which will be recorded as your attendance, as well as you see how are you taking this class. So I have posted the question. Look at the question carefully, and then if there is anything to be asked, just 1 second. Let me correctly copy. Yes. Anything to be asked, I'll explain. Otherwise, you just type the answer in the chat box. have you all posted your answer? So you want me to wait for a minute or two?
So
See,
can you paste the question again? Due to some network issue, I'm not able to see the question actually.
say
Only
it.
F part is available. I would prefer self assignments are posted. The other part is not available.
No, say it again. I didn't
So
get you.
due to some error in the network, I was not able to see the question actually.
Okay, okay.
Uh,
I'll write the question again. I have written the question again. Now complete the answer as soon as possible, so that we take up the session. All right, all right. So majority of you, what I could note, majority of you have mentioned B. That means you could not work out although you were present. It's a very, very sorry state of affairs. If you look at the problem that was posted in the group, how much maximum time you would have required to work out? Any one of you, those who have not done, can you answer that? How much was it? How much time would it have required? Those of you who have done, at least they can tell how much time did you require. Say Sabiha Aqil, how long did you take to write that, to work out that?
So it takes 15 to 20 minutes.
15 to 20 minutes to work out.
Yes,
Okay.
sir, because I went all through the revision. Like if I was
Okay, okay, fine, fine,
confused
fine.
somewhere, so
Just,
I
just
went,
once,
I just,
hold on. Oh, hold on. Shubham
yeah.
Kumar, how long did you take to work it out? Shubham,
So 5 minutes.
5 minutes. Anyone who could do it in less than 5 minutes? Who is there? Adil.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes,
Now,
sir.
let us assume that it requires 5 minutes on an average, 7 minutes on an average. So those of you who have written B, you could not work out what, what inference should I draw? At the end of class, don't tell me that you have understood nothing. For a reason that unless you practice there's no great things involved in it. I have been explaining you the equation for long. 10 items were there. All that you needed to do was to classify them into asset, capital, liability, expenses, and revenue. These have been explained several times. You might have made a mistake, you might have made an error, and your equation might not have balance. Then you could have always available. I have written several times. You can post your queries in the group or privately. We'll come to your rescue. We will answer you. So this kind of careless attitude is really painful. You will be ultimately sufferer. If you cannot spend 5 minutes after the classes, what more can I expect from you? This is not really to be appreciated. If an assignment is given, maybe wherein you are required to read 100, 200 pages, summarize them, write your own assessment and analyze, critically analyze and all, fine, you may be required to spend half an hour, 2 hours, 1 hour. It may mean fine as an assignment. If I'm asking you to do 2 plus 2 is equal to 4, do you consider it as an assignment? And still you are not able to, and still you are not able, rather, still you ignore it. You don't do it. Be honest to yourself. At least justify your own presence here. You are leaving your comfort of home, sitting in front of a laptop or a mobile or whatever, right at 8 o'clock in the morning, and the ultimate gain is not as desired. You think over it again, and change your attitude. Just 5 minutes were required, and then you still did not do it. I'll continue asking 1 or 2 MCQ in each class, maybe more, just to ensure that you are actually listening to what I am saying. You are not only physically present in the class, but mentally also you are alert. Even I have given you an option that I could not work out. Fine. I have given an option that you joined late and therefore you could not do. I mean, there are several options. One of it will fit for you, but you try to be present. I mean, what else? I remember I have explained to you yesterday that your equation is this, so that you could work out. This too was, I remember, I told you in the class verbally while speaking that your equation should be asset is equal to 116 plus 106 plus 10. So you could have worked out, you would have matched yours with this one. Okay. Now, those of you who have worked out correctly, at least one of you can answer how many A's were there out of the entire thing. How many A's were there? Total
So
of
4.
4. Okay,
Yes,
I think
sir, 4.
for the benefit of those who could not work out, let me go back. First one, serial number 1. What is
Yes,
this?
So it's cash and asset.
No,
It's
what
an
is this in terms of A, C, and R? Asset, capital, liability. What is it?
asset.
It is an asset.
Asset, yes, sir.
It is an asset.
Asset.
Okay. So for the benefit of others, I am writing it here. It is an asset. What is this bank account?
So asset.
Now, those who are not from commerce, they should answer. Those who are from commerce, they should not. For them, it is a cakewalk. Those who are not from commerce, what is bank? It is an asset, capital, liability, or expense.
Sir, asset.
Asset. Can it be a liability also? Can it be a liability also?
So it
Yes.
will,
If it is
yeah, it
credit,
will be a
it will be
credit.
counted
Then
as
it will be
liability.
liability.
Very good. Now, purchase account, what is this?
Expenses.
Expenses, yes, sir.
Capital account, it is clear, it is capital.
Capital, yes, sir.
Okay, how about furniture, what it is?
Sir, asset.
Asset. How about IFS?
So credit. Liability.
It is a liability
Liability.
because it is appearing in
Liability.
credit side. Liability. How about XYZ?
So assets. These were our debtors. Because these were our debtors. They are
Because it is
debtors.
appearing in debit
Debtors.
side. Sales account,
So
Revenue.
revenue. Yes, sir.
salaries account,
Sir, expenses.
salaries account, expense.
Expenses, yes, sir.
Rest of the salaries account, expense. What is this next account?
Electricity is
account?
also an expense. It was also an
It is
expense.
also expense. What
Yes,
is
sir.
interest?
So revenue.
Revenue.
Revenue. It can be expense also if it is given in debit
Debits,
side.
yes, sir.
I was looking at the watch. It has not taken more than 2 minutes. And most of the answers came from you only. The only thing is, those who could not do, they were only required to take out 5 minutes of their busiest possible schedule. Very, very busy people, just take out 5 minutes and they would have been in a position to mark them as A, C, L, E, whatever, and A separately, total them separately, C separately total, E separately total, R separately total. It could have been done even manually without involving any calculator or even supercomputer. I have written here preparation of equation from the one that see page number 63, 68, 71 and 72 of teaching material. Honestly tell me how many of you have actually seen this material? Is there anyone who can say yes?
Yes, sir. I saw it.
Yes, sir. We saw it day before yesterday when you sent it on
You
the
saw it
Google
day before
Classroom.
yesterday.
Yes, sir.
Good.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Good.
The
Just-
day before yesterday as well, I saw it.
Okay. Let me just check once again. I am writing a question. Write your response. But before you write your response, either write Y, roll number Y, or roll number NN. If you write Y, that is yes. I will immediately ask you some questions pertaining to that. It is present on my, I'm just sitting right in front of holding that assignment with me. Just write 101 yes or 101 no. I have got the material in front of me. Those of you who are writing why, I will ask them the question. Once again, several no. Hmm. $63. Okay, refer to page number 63. Can any one of you tell me what is serial number 13? No,
Higher
what is it?
charges.
Sir, higher charges.
Higher charges, yes, sir.
Sir, expenses.
Expenses.
Expenses,
So
yes,
what
like
is
that.
that?
Tell me what is this expenses? Okay. How
Okay,
about building material? Building, sorry, serial number 5.
So, and it's an
Sir,
Expenses.
expenses.
Acha, what is mentioned here in the just in front of this head?
Asset.
asset.
Asset. That means somebody whom these notes might have been given, he must have written it by mistake. Asset.
Okay.
How about, you are right. You are right when you say expenses. Absolutely right. If I ask you, okay, the question. If I ask you, what is, you have got books in the company. Books are asset or expenses?
sir, it's an asset.
So
It's an
asset
asset.
because it will be
Okay,
lasting
okay.
for more than
Sir,
1 year.
If I am asking you, that this question is from a company, let us say Apprentice Hall of India, PHI. PHI has got books. Expense or asset?
It is a stock.
So asset.
Asset.
Stock
It
is
is
asset. Stock is asset.
Asset.
asset. If I ask you, some medicine company dealing in medicine has got books. Asset or expense?
Sir,
Expenses. Sir.
expense.
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 Yes, sir.
Now, once again, recall what I explained to you concerning expenses and asset. If you buy something with an intention to resell immediately or as and when the prices go up, it is an expense.
Yes, sir.
Apprentice Hall of India would be buying books as a stock or asset or expense.
Expense.
For
Expense.
Apprentice Hall
Yes,
of India,
sir.
these are
Expense. Yes.
it's
expenses.
an expense.
Yes, sir.
But for a medicine company, these are
Sir, asset.
Asset.
Asset. Yes, sir.
a company which is dealing in furnitures.
Hmm.
A company which is dealing in furniture, if it buys furniture, it is an expense.
Yes,
Hmm.
sir.
But any
Yes,
other
sir.
company which is not dealing in furniture, it is an
Asset.
Asset.
asset. Suppose
Yes, sir.
Ansel Housing Private Limited has got several flats.
Hmm.
Assets or expenses?
Expenses.
Housing.
Asset.
Expenses.
Sir, expenses.
Because,
because they're gonna
because
resell it.
their
They're
business
gonna
is to buy
resell
and
it.
sell
Yes, sir.
flats. They will
Yes.
buy a sell for 1 lakh and will sell it for 1,50,000.
Yes, sir.
So when we say asset or expense, it has also to be seen. I mean, what kind of business a company is in, isn't it?
Okay, sir.
So therefore, in this particular example, building repair material, the student who might have written asset might have thought the word building. The moment you say building, it comes to your mind, it is an asset.
Asset.
But it will be dependent on, just 1 second, so my student is asking me to what admit. It is all okay. Just 1 second. I think it is auto admit. All right. So let me just help her out. I'll help him whosoever. Now we come back to the trial balance that I wrote. Now at least those of you who have written no, at least try to do this as well as some others which are given in those pages 63, 68, 71 and 72. Try to work out an equation using these pages 63, 60, whatever is mentioned on your screen. So those of you who could not do it, at least try to work out, and if there are problems, you ask the clarification from me. Now we move on to the next point of discussion. If you have any question, I'll clarify. Otherwise, I'll move on to the next topic. I am removing these from the slide so that when it is posted, at least you will be able to do it yourself. So we move on the next slide. Classify the items of trial balance that I have already explained to you, and it was there in on your screen as well. Okay. Now, date 12, this too has been covered. Now, when yesterday I had explained to you, in case both sides of a trial balance are equal, we say that mathematically we have made no mistake. But from accounting point of view, there is a possibility of some errors. For example, one of the errors could be error of omission. You all know the meaning of word omission. Omission कहते हैं भूल जाने को,
भूल जाना,
किसी चीज को भूल जाना, जानबूझ करके या गलती से,
unintentionally.
अनइंटेंशनली. और जो जानबूझ के करते हैं उसको क्या कह सकते हैं?
Intentionally.
Error.
नहीं, जो गलती से हुआ वो तो एरर है. जानबूझ के
Error
करना
हो जाएगा.
ब्लंडर.
और
मिस्टेक.
मिस्टेक और
सर गुना
और
फॉर्जरी.
अकाउंटिंग की लैंग्वेज में बताइए. अकाउंटिंग लैंग्वेज में इट विल बी कंसिडर्ड एज ए फ्रॉड. अगर जानबूझ के आप कुछ गलत करते हैं तो दैट इज कॉल्ड एज फ्रॉड, और इनोसेंटली इफ इट इज कॉज्ड इट इज नोन एज एरर. So what I am talking about today, I will be referring to the errors only. The first error could be error of omission. There are several. I am completing only important ones. So in case any accountant, anybody forgets by error, by mistake to record anything, so what will happen? Your both sides of trial balance will be equal, but error will continue to be there. You have understood?
Yes, sir.
Because when you don't
Yes, sir.
write anything either on debit side or on credit side, so nothing will be affected. Both sides will be equal, and still there will be an error. Okay, can you give me some examples of error of omission?
So it can be any example if we forgot to.
Yes, go ahead. If you forgot to.
So put any entry, like any amount, or
Just-
we
just
missed
tell
one
me,
entry.
tell me the transaction.
So like
Sir,
we have
electricity bill
purchased
paid.
furniture, sir. So we omit to record the purchase of furniture in both
Okay.
the sides.
The example is we purchase furniture. No, so whenever you say it is not for you, I'm referring to the entire class. Whenever any one of you say, just say the complete transaction. We bought furniture through check, but we
Okay.
forgot to record. It
Okay.
becomes a complete statement. We paid salaries rupees 10,000 in cash, but we forgot to make an entry. Likewise, you can go on and complete several statements. Now take any one of these examples. Let us say you bought furniture, but you forgot to record. Okay, then can this be detected or it cannot be detected?
Sir, it
Yes,
has
sir.
to
It
be
can be
detected.
It can be
verified.
deducted, sir.
Okay. How soon will this be detected?
So when the balance of both the side doesn't match, then only.
The balance of both the side in any case will match because you have forgotten to record. Balance is both side equal.
So when check will be debited from our account? Jab
When
check.
check will be debited from our account. Suppose you bought furniture, you paid through check, and as soon as the check is debited to your account, you will come to know why is it that bank has debited this money to our account, and you will examine it, you will verify it, you will check and cross check, and you will come to know, and you will make a correction. Fine. Suppose it was bought for cash. Suppose something small was bought for cash and you forgot to record. How will you come to know?
Sir, after checking the balance amount, we should have.
Bills and voucher.
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Practically,
Morning cash
okay, you are right.
amount or
You are right.
evening
Practically,
cash
what happens
amount.
at the end of each day before closing the office, person who is responsible for handling cash, he or she counts the cash that he had in the beginning and he had at the time of closing the office. Suppose 10,000 rupees were spent, but somebody forgot to record. So physically, there will be difference between the figures in the cash book and the fee on and the rupees available with him or her in the cash box. So when 10,000 rupees will be fall short of, immediately they will try to work out where this money was gone, and they will be able to identify and then correct. Suppose it was bought on credit, then how will you come to know? When you receive a statement from for paying back, or when you receive a reminder from the person who sold you goods on credit, isn't it?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Suppose I make one more statement. You sold goods to me. You sold furniture, books, anything to me, and you forgot to record. You sold it to me on credit. You forgot to record. I also did not record. Hence, I did not send you a reminder. I also did not record, and I did not send you a reminder, because I will send you a reminder only if I have recorded. How do you take this?
Sir, inventory.
Okay. Decrease in whose inventory?
Our inventory,
Your
yes, sir,
inventory.
we sold it, yes.
Sellers or buyers?
Sellers.
Seller's inventory.
Seller's inventory. Assume that it was such a small amount that it didn't matter much. It was such a small amount that it didn't matter much. I just didn't pay any attention to my inventories. I did not record, and hence I did not send you a reminder. What are your observations here? It might go undetected. Any other observation?
So how does it even matter that the amount is a small or
Okay. How
large?
does it matter if the amount is small?
Sir,
Okay.
because amount is the amount, now it's very important.
Okay.
So I will remind you that amount is even small, but you have to pay.
Okay. Now I am making a last statement on this particular heading, then I'll move on to the next one. You have to think of the answer. The statement that I'm making is, by making all the statements just before a minute, he forgets, you forget, I forget, all those nonsense. Suppose by saying so, I am violating one of the accounting conventions. Which one is that?
Sir, rationality.
Yes, you are absolutely right on dot. Rationality. Is it rational to assume that everybody, buyer and seller, inventory, and everybody will forget?
No, sir. No, sir.
No, sir.
It is
No, sir.
probability could be 0.001%, but it is irrational to assume so, isn't it? Okay.
Yes.
Off and on, I will be giving you a transaction or a situation and asking you which accounting convention is guiding you or you are violating. To continue refreshing those so that you are able to arrive at the correct application of the concepts that you have learned. Nobody will ask you ever to define accounting and discuss its scope. When you join an organization, will anybody ask you what is accounting convention? No.
No, sir.
You will be expected to take a decision, apply whatever you have learned. So application of whatever we are learning, whatever we are discussing is ultimately the outcome, is ultimately important. Rest of it is not when you join an organization. The concepts have to be learned, but their application will be much more important. Then second point is error of commission. This error is caused when we make some mathematical mistake, mathematical error in calculating either a percentage or something of that sort. You were expected to calculate a 2% discount, but you have calculated 3%. You were supposed to calculate 3% taxes, you have calculated 4%. You were supposed to pay 9% commission, but you have paid 7% or 12%. So because on both sides you have recorded debit and credit equal, it will not affect your trial balance. Both sides will be equal. We have another error known as error of principle. But before I explain to you error of principle, we once again go back to error of omission. In books, you will find this under two headings. One is error of omission and also error of repetition. Error of repetition. If you omit to record or you record something twice, both possibility, under both possibilities, if you record a transaction twice, naturally you will debit and credit at both these stages and your trial balance will be equal. Okay, come back to the third one. The earlier one I forgot, so I have repeated it now. Now you come to the third one, error of principle. If you violate any of the accounting transactions, any of the accounting principles, all those 10-12 conventions that we have discussed, if you violate any one of those or several of those and you continue recording, it will not affect your trial balance. Can any one of you, including those from commerce, give me an example that transaction with this we have recorded like this and hence we have violated accounting convention?
Next, we have recorded this asset as our expense. We have recorded asset as our expense.
No, I am asking you to come up with an example.
Okay, sir.
So like we have purchased any asset just like a machinery, and we will treat it as an expense.
Once again, come up with an example. You are simply saying this, to this extent it is correct, you have purchased machinery. What did you treat it as?
Expense.
Which expense? Salary or rent?
Sir, like we have recorded prepaid rent in the current year only.
We have recorded prepaid rent in the current year only. Good.
Yes, sir. Not as an asset, but as an expense.
Let me elaborate. Rent. So we are finalizing our account from January to December. Rent of January and February paid in the month of December, but has been recorded as rent in this accounting year. Is the transaction clear to you? Okay, you made a mistake. What mistakes you made? You have violated accounting principle. Which one did you violate?
Periodicity.
So periodicity.
Periodicity.
If I say it is wrong?
Matching.
Matching, yes. Matching.
Okay.
So try to think over it. You have violated matching. Under what conditions would you have violated periodicity?
No consecutive dates.
No, I am just interested in an example. In this particular transaction, periodicity would have been violated. No, it is not again periodicity. It's not periodicity. Okay, I am leaving you here. Refresh those and then we will come back for the discussion once again. Because I will cover a few more topics today itself. Now, compensating error. Compensating error happens when an accountant commits two mistakes in such a way that one compensates the other. I'll give you an example. Suppose in debit you write 1000 and in credit you write 100. In debit, in a transaction took place, amount is spent on refreshment. So you made an entry, refreshment debit to cash account. In refreshment, you have written 1000, but in cash account, you have written 100. It was an error. Maybe after some time, the same day, next day, after 10 days, 15 days, you spent 100 rupees on any item but by mistake you have recorded it is 1 times 1000, 1 times 100. So first you recorded under 900 a particular place, and second you over recorded 900 at another place. So will this mathematically affect your trial balance?
No, sir.
Had it been only one error, your trial balance would have been difference. There would have been a difference in your trial balance by rupees 900. But in this case, you are making a mistake of 900 at one place, making another mistake of 900 at another place in such a way that one is offsetting the other. So this is known as compensating error. All these errors will continue to be there in your books of accounts, and still both sides will be equal. So we need to know not only that, how to detect each error and how to rectify. How to detect and how to rectify. For example, error of omission. How to rectify?
So whenever we get to know, we can make an entry then.
Simple, very simple.
Whenever
Whenever you are absolutely right, whenever you get to know, you make an entry. How about error of repetition?
So something like maybe a reverse entry or subtracting something from the that trial balance.
Any other answer? Error of repetition. You have to make one more entry which will be just opposite to the one that you recorded twice. In accounting language, whatever has been debited now will be credited, and whatever was credited now will be debited. It will cancel the over debit and over a credit. So this is how error of repetition. This is how error of repetition can be addressed. Okay. How about error of principle? How do we recognize what is the process? How can we recognize that we have violated? Okay, which one of these four listed here, 4 or 5, seems more difficult to detect?
So principal error.
Which one?
So principal error.
Principal, correct. Error of principle. Now, if that part is clear, we move on to the next topic, which is included here itself, is the concern related to GST. All the transactions which are being recorded these days, they include GST. Earlier on, sales tax was included. Now, GST is included. Before I explain to you what appears on this slide, for this reason only, I posted the material, enough of material. I downloaded it from various sources, from various books, slightly edited that also. And after editing that, I have posted on the website. I have uploaded it on my teaching material section. You all were expected to have downloaded that and at least have gone through once. Even if the historical background or the other things are not important, but at least its accounting implications you all were supposed to. So GST in our country broadly has got two classifications: within a state and outside the state. Within a state is known as
Intrastate.
Interstate, IGST. And outside the state, it is known as
SGST.
SGST. Now, before I proceed, before I explain you other things, see, when you buy goods, you pay GST or you receive?
We pay GST.
We pay
Pay GST.
GST.
Yes,
You
sir.
pay
We pay
GST,
GST.
correct.
Yes, sir.
And when you sell goods,
So
We get
So we
GST.
receive.
Then we get GST.
you receive GST. Ordinarily, GST received will be more or GST paid will be more.
So
GST
GST
received.
Ordinarily,
It depends upon the
GST.
percentage of
depends
GST.
on the depends what we are selling or what we are buying.
So GST
depends.
receives, sir.
Can there be any other answer? I hope my
Sir, it
question is
needed
clear.
to
What
be
did I
equal.
ask you?
So
Ordinarily,
GST received.
GST ordinarily 99.99% cases GST received will be more than GST paid.
Yes.
See, the reason is simple. In a business, you sell more or you buy more.
So
So
sell
we
more.
sell more.
You sell
You
more.
sell it at the
When you
price.
sell more, so naturally you will receive more. And if there is a business wherein they buy more and sell less, so business will be closed in a day or two, maybe as soon as possible. In a day, in a month, or in a year, it will be closed because it is not able to sell what it bought. So GST received will be more than GST paid. What do? Suppose you have paid 100 and you received 120. What would you do? With 20, what would you do? Whom does this money belong to?
Government.
Government.
In the government account. You will deposit in the government account. Suppose there is a situation wherein you have received GST 100 rupees, but you have paid 130 rupees. You have paid 130 rupees, but you have received only 100. So there's a loss of rupees 30 to you. What will you do?
File returns.
This money you will claim from the government, known as input tax credit. What is it known as?
ITC, input tax credit.
Input tax credit. So broadly speaking, we have transactions related to receiving GST. We have transactions related to paying GST. We will have transactions related to claiming excess GST that we have paid, and we will have a transaction related to depositing excess GST that we have received. Are these 4 steps clear to you?
Yes, sir.
Now, the transactions could be any. The transaction could be any. It will be involving GST, either receiving or paying. Now, take any transaction that may come to your mind. Think of any transaction. Jesus, come on, tell me any transaction. Okay, you sold furniture. Okay, you sold furniture for rupees 100 and 18 rupees were GST on it. So you will receive how much money? 180.
118, yes, sir.
180. This 18 will be divided into 2 groups. One is state GST and the other is central GST. CGST and SGST. CGST and SGST. And then suppose there was another opposite transaction. You sold furniture. Sorry, you bought furniture. You will pay GST. You bought furniture for 200 rupees and 18% of a GST. So you will pay 236 rupees. 236. Now this 36 will go out of your company. In earlier case, 18 will come to your account. Take another transaction. You paid salaries. Will you pay GST?
No, sir.
No, sir.
No.
No,
No,
sir.
sir.
No,
Deposited
sir.
money in bank.
Still not, sir.
Still not. Means there will be transactions on which GST will be payable and receivable, and there will be transactions wherein GST will be payable and will not be payable. Accordingly, the entry will be made. Now let us come to the accounting language. When you pay GST, is it an expense or revenue?
So expense.
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 Expenses are debited or credited?
Debited.
Debited.
Debited. Correct. Now look at transaction which is appearing on your screen. See point number A. What is A? Purchase goods for rupees 50,000 from ABC and a company. So you are buying goods for, I have explained it somewhere that it will be in all cases 18% has been taken as a GST. So just stay on at serial number 1 itself. You purchase goods for rupees 50,000 from ABC and company. So suppose there is no GST. What you will do? Purchase debit and ABC credit. Assume that there is no GST. So what you will do? Purchase will be debited and ABC, ABC will be credited.
Yes.
But because there is GST also, so both GSTs will be debited being expenses. Input central government, this one, and input state government, CGST and SGST. Both will be equal. So input GST as 4,500, input SGST as 4,500. So ABC will be credited for rupees 59,000. We will pay how much to ABC? 59. Of this 59, 50 will be his money and 9,000 will be GST. In such a way that 4,500 central government and 4,500 state government. Now take just a reverse example. Sold goods to 80,000, sold goods for 80,000 to XYZ. Suppose there is no GST. XYZ will be debited, sales will be credited. Sales will be credited because it is a revenue. XYZ will be debited because they are our debtors. XYZ debit to sales account. Suppose there is no GST, then both the entries will be there for 80,000. But when GST is there, we calculate 9 or 18% of that and divide equally in state and a center. The entry would become XYZ debit to sales account to output GST and output SGST. So when you sell, output, when you buy, it is input. And CGST is central and SGST is state. Now suppose we have mentioned here advertisement account in part C, paid for advertisement. What is advertisement in terms of asset, capital, liability, expense and revenue?
Expense.
Correct. Stay here for a second. Earlier on, I asked you about salary. What is salary?
Expense.
Expenses.
Okay, on advertisement, we are charging GST. On a salary, why not?
So because salary is taxable under income tax head.
Salary
is taxable under Income Tax Act.
Salaries are taxable under income tax head. So the person who is receiving salary, it will be considered as his income and accordingly he will pay taxes. He will pay or his company will pay?
He will pay.
He will
The
pay.
person will pay the tax.
Personal income tax.
Person will pay the tax. So unfortunately or fortunately, if this is the case, we would have been really enjoying our lives. This is not so. Before our salaries are paid, our employer is duty bound. I am saying our employer is duty bound to deduct money from our salaries in the form of tax known as a TDS. Tax
Deduction at source.
Yes. Any idea how much taxes should we be paying? Percentage?
So it depends upon slab rate.
Okay. Suppose highest rate है, बहुत काफी सैलरी है, 2-3 लाख रुपए.
20%.
20%. और बताइए.
So 30%.
30%.
37%.
कितना?
37%.
37%. और ये सब तुम्हारा गैस है या तुम्हें मालूम है?
No sir, पढ़ा था.
30%. If you are paying, like, if you are earning more than 5 lakh, then you have to pay a tax of 30%.
No.
Yeah, I wish
If
it
you are
was-
earning more than 5
No,
lakh, then we have
10
to pay.
lakh.
Yeah.
What will be the
Above
ultimate?
10 lakh.
What will be the average rate? ये सब स्लैब कैलकुलेट कर लिए कितना एवरेज, अगर 100 रुपया तनख्वाह है तो कितने रुपए टैक्स में चले जाते होंगे?
20%. So 20-25%.
It is close to 25%.
So
100 रुपए
28%.
अगर आपको मिलते हैं तो 75 रुपए आपको मिल पाते हैं, 25 चले जाते हैं टैक्स में. So what I was saying, the salaries, so employer deducts this money and pays to the government. If the GST is also applied there, there will be a double taxation. The poor man will be paying twice. So all four entries I have tried to explain to you here. How much is the, if excess, it is to be deposited in bank. All these steps have been explained here. I'll be posting certain questions for, putting it or maybe on the Google Classroom. And as usual, if you have listened to them in the classroom, post it. And those who have not, should not. I'll explain